Big news in the basketball card world. PSA is now going to be grading star cards going back to the 80s. And is the 86 Fleer Michael Jordan rookie card, the iconic card, the true rookie card? I'm not so sure. Let's dive in.
Let's be ready to run now.
I like that.
What time is it? Game time! Boom!
Hello to all my sports card collectors, investors, all of my collectibles friends. How are we doing today? It is another day, is another sports card video, and this one is going to be really fun. We are going to tackle some 80s basketball card stuff, which you know that I love. I'm the 80s, 90s nostalgia guy. I'm all about it. We're going to talk about a sport that was played very differently back in the 1980s. It was much more of a physical game. I remember watching it growing up. You did not want to mess with the Charles Oakleys and the Bill Lambiers of the world.
We thought we could walk straight through New York.
Yes, sir. Oakley just came over and annihilated Bill Cartwright.
Trying to find open people.
Sting, and the 24-second clock goes down, and Bird and Lambier go at it.
If you're new here or you haven't committed yet, what are you waiting for? Please hit that subscribe button down below the big red button. We're coming out, like I said, with pretty much almost daily sports cards, collectibles videos, having a lot of fun doing it, and we are glad to see you here. Also connect with me on IG at SportsCardDad, and I'm also on Twitter, the SportsCardDad. An earthquake hit the hobby here over the last week where PSA announced that they will again be grading star cards. And I say again because they had graded them in the past decades ago, but then decided not to, and we'll kind of dig into why that is. It's a pretty big deal because you really only have BGS graded cards for these. And so there will be folks that are looking at sending in star cards to PSA, whether they be raw or cracking BGS slabs. I think that that's going to probably be fairly common as well. I saw a funny Lameme James post on IG, and it was tackling the 86 Fleer Michael Jordan rookie card debate. He has listed here kind of that debate between 84 Star and then 86 Fleer, but then we're also throwing in, what about 85 Nike Promo? Or what about the 85 Prism Jewel sticker, which I think was only available in vending machines, which is unbelievable. Think if you had one of those. Or the 85 Interlake. Now we're kind of looking at anything pre-1986. The one thing that I've heard of as far as the 86 Fleer, which to me is not a great argument, to be honest, for the 86 Fleer card, is it was the first widely distributed Jordan rookie card. So basketball cards after the Topps license ended, the only licensed cards were star cards from 1983 until 1986. One thing I was looking back on as I was kind of doing research is I was thinking, well, maybe star wasn't licensed and that's why people like the 86 Fleer, because it's not a licensed card and that's why it didn't get any more attention than that. But no, star had an NBA license from 83 to 86. So these are perfectly legitimate, and you'll see, I mean, you've got Bulls cards. There are also star cards that have Jordan in his UNC uni as well, which I think are really cool. I know some people are not about the draft picks, you know, the college uniforms, but the fact that he went to UNC, I'm here in Raleigh, I think that it's pretty cool. My wife went to UNC, so I don't mind the UNC cards. I might have to look at that if there's any sort of a discount on the UNC version, because I think those are awesome. Production runs for the star cards thought to be about 5,000 or less. So we're not talking high production, and they were served up in poly bags and subsets, not even in wax packs. These are not pack pulled. These were team sets essentially that were in poly bags. Interesting story behind these cards. So why are these not more respected? What's going on with these? Well, there's some scandal. As you probably figured, there was some scandal around the star cards. A big part of it is related to counterfeits, and the big one is the owner of Star, Robert Levin. In 1997, he went on a home shopping network channel and essentially was selling star cards that he was saying were unearthed from the 80s They were not. They were not unearthed from the 80s. They were not original 80s cards. They were counterfeit cards that he was selling on the Home Shopping Network. And so those were out there, and there was a lot of them. There's a lot of them out there. Additionally, there's Type 2 counterfeits. All Vintage Cards has a great article here, and I'm going to put links to everything here in the video description. But Steve Taft, they interview Steve Taft, who is an expert, a star card expert that has also been doing authentication for Beckett, helping them as well as a consultant. But Steve Taft talks about Type 2 counterfeits, which essentially were factory rejects. This is wild. Factory rejects that were stolen by an ex-employee and then put out into the market. So you've got all kinds of kind of wild stories around, you're trying to figure out what's real, what's not. And this is going to be kind of the challenge, I think, for those that are like, oh man, I want to get into star cards. I think that we all have to be really careful about buying raw ones. You really have to kind of dig in on this, do some research, and really kind of dig in. I don't personally own any star cards as of yet. I would certainly be open to it. And as I've done more research on these cards, I love them. I've looked at them in the past on eBay. I love the bordering. I love the design. The one big thing, I might have mentioned it earlier, but there's a lot of great photos from the early Jordan days, but also other players as well, and that's what's kind of cool. There was really a limited number of sets in the 80s. We're so used to now where there's 50 different sets released every single year. Back then, it's not considered vintage, but it's getting to the point where 80s is kind of on that vintage border. They just didn't make a lot of sets. There wasn't a lot of different stuff out there. And so when you do have a set like this that's licensed, that does have a variety of different subsets within it, you've got all-star cards, you've got the main set, you've got a bunch of different things, Olympic cards from these star sets. It's cool because there's a lot of photos from these players' early careers outside of just 86 Fleer. One good point that Steve Taft makes in this interview that I think should be taken seriously as well is that while there are counterfeit, reprinted star cards out there, in his opinion, it pales in comparison to how many fakes and reprints there are of 86 Fleer cards, which is kind of a strong point, frankly. I mean, there's a lot of issues with 86 Fleer fake Jordan cards out there. How is that different than star cards? I think any way you slice it, you really have to be careful with these, but these are great cards. And so if this is a set that you're looking at getting kind of more familiar with, two websites that I found good information was allvintagecards.com and then also starbasketballcards.com. Both of those sites, they really kind of give a breakdown, a history of the sets, the cards. But it's just cool stuff. And there's a lot of star basketball card collectors out there. This isn't new to a lot of people. And I remember going back, there's a lot of people in my comment section saying, hey, the 86 Fleer is not the Jordan rookie card. It is the star cards. And I think they've got a very valid point. I think it's a little bit hazy as far as hobby definitions. The hobby sometimes, declares things or whatever, certain segments of the hobby. They like things or they control what's cool, what's valuable. But in reality, it's all up for interpretation and there's no set in stone rules on this sort of stuff. So if you think that the star basketball sets are the rookie cards, the true rookie cards, can't really argue it when they are really the first licensed cards. Going back to the 1983 All-Star set, the Star All-Star set, those are the first licensed, those are the only licensed cards that are available during that time, coming off of Topps ending their licensing, and then you've got 86 Fleer. So this is really worth digging into. I think this is going to be kind of a fun ride. I'm going to, among other things, of course, that I'm researching and looking into, this is going to be one of those sets that I'm going to dig more into. But I do think that E4 Star number 101 is the true rookie card for Michael Jordan. It is the first one, and I understand, people are going to say, hey, 86 Fleer is iconic. It was way more widely distributed and more available. But to me, that's not the defining piece. I think 84 Star is it. So anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments. And let me just say, I think all of these cards have an important part in sports card history. They all play an important part in 80s basketball history as well. So regardless of whether you fall on the debate, what side of it you fall, it's all good stuff. So guys, thank you very much for joining me here today. This was a fun video to make. I want to do more of these types of things. But what do you think about PSA now grading star cards? Is this a game changer for you? Does it not really matter to you? Are you collecting these cards? Is it not on your radar? Let me know in the comments. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.